How's it going, man? How you doing tonight?
Great.
Did you know that they proved God with science?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. What science proves God?
Have you heard of the WMAP?
Yeah.
So
What
you're
about
familiar? You're familiar with it?
it? Yeah, what about it?
All right. So if you look at the far left side of that, you would be looking at what? The beginning of the universe, right?
No. The W map, the CMB do not point to a beginning necessarily. They point to the earliest moments of the universe, the first light of the universe,
Right,
about
right.
200,000 years after the Big Bang.
Right, and they only theorized that it was the beginning for a while until somewhat recently. A few scientists in a lab in New Jersey discovered the echo of the Big Bang. Now, a different scientist had predicted this a
That's the
while.
W map, sir. That's what the W map has seen.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that you don't even know what you're talking about here.
No, I
The,
did.
look, the Big Bang's not the beginning, so stop precluding that it is. It's not.
No.
I want
Well,
evidence of a God, not the Big Bang.
well,
Where's your
listen,
God? Where is
listen.
God required here?
That's what I'm trying to explain. So, if you, it helps give an illustration that WMAP because if you look at the Big Bang and where it all started, that is that predates existence, correct?
No. Look, the Big Bang is not the beginning, and there might not be a non-existence to even talk about coherently.
Well, how can you say for sure that the Big Bang isn't the beginning?
Well, I'm not saying we know for sure, but the point is, it's not necessarily the beginning. There could be an infinite universe beyond that.
Right, but okay, so science, the best that science can do, essentially, that the best that they've done so far would be that graph of the Big Bang. Like that's their closest guess, right?
That's what we observe. The W map is observations of the cosmic microwave background radiation that we
Right.
can literally observe with telescopes.
It's very real. Yes, it's observable. So what they have observed based off of that and based off of the echo that they not I don't know how many years ago they heard it but or discovered it with their instruments. But there is a set of forces that predates existence. A set of forces outside of that projection. If you're looking at the picture,
No, there's no outside forces. That's nonsense.
yeah, no,
That,
no,
that,
dude.
two, that 2D map of the Big Bang is not actually what it actually is in reality. That's a two-dimensional aspect of it, right?
Yeah,
But
I know.
reality seems to exist in a four-dimensional way. There's three dimensions of space, one of time. So it's
Yeah,
not possible to really grasp the Big Bang from your mind. It's not possible, actually.
exactly.
The
Yes,
map you're
right.
observing is there is no force beyond the Big Bang. That's just you're probably talking about the quantum fluctuation, which is something well known and well understood. It's not God.
But if there is a, but if see the thing is, if I'm to prove God to you, first we have to agree on a definition. So what would be a fair definition?
I don't know. To me, that God is ill-defined in any way. It seems to be a supreme being, as you guys claim it is, but that doesn't make sense to me. Do you have
No,
any evidence for that now?
I don't think supreme being would be a fair definition. I think
Okay, great. So demonstrate that your God exists by your definition.
okay, I say by my definition, a God would be a force outside of the bounds of time, space, and matter that predates it, could create it out of nothing, and also interact with it. So you have the forces of nature. The
Yeah,
forces
that's
of,
not coherent. There's no such thing as outside of time. How do you have, in order for things to happen, you need time, right? So how can
yeah.
something be created with no time to create it in?
Well, something had to begin. That's what I mean. Something had to start
No,
time.
no.
Time doesn't.
This is where your argument collapses. You don't need a beginning for anything. You don't need a first cause. You don't need a first mover. No, you don't need a beginner. The universe could exist statically as a 4D block, as Einstein demonstrates with relativity. You don't need a start or a cause or a first man to make it happen.
No, that's what I was trying to tell you about the scientists in New Jersey who recently discovered the echo, which is proof that there was actually, in fact, a beginning because
No,
there
no,
wouldn't have been an echo.
no. What you're talking about are the people who discovered the CMB. These are microwave. This is microwave radiation from the Big Bang. This was like 70, 80 years ago.
Yeah,
This is not recent, and more importantly, it does not demonstrate a beginning. Unless you have a source that shows that there has to be a beginning, you have no argument here.
they discovered that it was decreasing in over time, and that when they found that echo, it does point to the fact that it did start. How does the echo that they discovered contradict that there would be a beginning?
What do you mean by beginning? What does a beginning even mean when
Yeah,
you talk about the Big Bang? That doesn't make any
right,
sense.
right, because of time. But like, if the theory that the very basic principles of the Big Bang, like the quantum, all that shit.
Please go back to the drawing board and go learn something before you come up here and embarrass yourself again.
Yo,
Hey, what do you got? Hey, what do you got? The Big Bang is not the beginning, nor does it demonstrate a beginning needing a God. You never need a God for anything.
Can you hear me?
Yep, what do you got?
Um, I'm the viewer's son. I just want to make that clear real quick. I do have 3 points that I want to bring to you, if that's okay. My first point: are you aware of where Jesus Christ was crucified? Mount Calvary.
Okay, congratulations. What else is what's actually relevant here?
I'm getting there. Uh, the tomb of which he was buried underneath Mount Calvary was directly below where his crucified, where his cross was. His
Congratulations.
blood
What's
dripped down.
relevant now? Can you actually debate now? Can you be part of the discussion? I don't care about a tomb. I want evidence of a God, not an empty rock.
The blood which spilled from his crucifixion was found recently
Oh,
by
really?
scientists.
Who discovered it? Who discovered Jesus' blood?
I'm sorry?
Who discovered the blood?
A scientist. I can
Is it Ron
find that,
Wyatt?
but
Is it Ron Wyatt by chance?
is it what?
Is it Ron Wyatt by chance? The fraud?
No.
Okay, great. So where's your scientific source of Jesus' blood?
Are you aware of how many chromosomes the human body has in their DNA?
Sir, do you have sources for your claim?
Yes.
Where is the source?
There are entire documentaries that were just put out last year.
I don't want a Netflix documentary. I want a
It's
scientific
not
paper.
Netflix. It's not Netflix
Okay,
documentary.
whatever, Rumble, YouTube, whatever the fuck platform it is. I want evidence of God, not a documentary on YouTube.
It's not a YouTube documentary. It's put on the National Geographic.
This is on par with ancient aliens. Like this is ancient alien shit. I want a source. Do you know what a source is by chance? Like do you know what
So,
a source
so
is?
you believe, so you believe in a scientific realm of which the entire universe exists, but you don't believe in aliens either? You believe that we are the only creatures in the
Sir, we're
entire.
not talking about aliens today. We're talking about your God who died on a stick.
Okay,
Where's
then
the
let me
evidence of
talk
the guy
about.
that died on a stick and became a bird that flew away? I want that evidence.
Okay, then let me talk about my God and not aliens. Don't bring up aliens whenever you want to talk about my God. Anyway, as I was saying, the human body has 46 chromosomes, 23 from the mother, 23 from the father. Whenever they tested this blood, not only was this blood still
Stop
alive, which
yapping.
is completely
Stop. I don't
impossible.
care about the blood. I want evidence. Where's your source of this Jesus blood? Do you have his feces too? Do you have Jesus droppings? Do you have his urine? Do you have semen samples? Do you have a sperm count?
They only found 24 chromosomes in human blood.
Sir, you keep yapping. Where's the, I'm gonna give you one more chance to give the source. One more chance for the source. Do you have the source?
I can find it.
Come back and find it when you find it. Thank you. They didn't find blood of Jesus. It's nonsense. There's no source of evidence for that. Hey, what do you got? Keep tapping, guys, and please subscribe to the YouTube. Link in bio.
What's going on?
Hey, what do you got?
So you need a source of Jesus's blood? Is that what you're saying?
Sure, if you got it. Then I'd love to see evidence for God.
Okay, you want evidence for God. Did you die and come back and say there is no God? How do you know what's on the other side? I'm not saying I do. How can you say there's not? Laugh. Answer that. Did you die and come back to say what's on the other side? What's on the other side? What do you think's on the other side?
Who says there's another side, right? Like, how do you know?
What you just die? Well, let me ask you a question. You got babies born, right? And they come out with same thing me and you got. Babies. You got everybody in the world doesn't have the exact fingerprint. How do you explain that?
Embryonic development?
Well, give me some scientific shit. Just spit it out. How do you explain that?
When your skin forms in the womb, when you're an embryo.
No. I'm talking billions of people now.
Fingerprints. And that's how your genes produce your certain fingerprints that you have in your skin. It's genetic.
So, okay, you're right. I give you that. But tell me this. Billions of people and not one person has the same fingerprint, right?
Because not every single DNA strand is going to have the same. There's billions of atoms in your DNA. There's millions of molecules in your DNA. They're not. There's a very small chance that they're going to be completely identical. It's not possible, given that how little people there are.
Okay. All right. Well, okay, we'll give you that, but it's impossible. It is impossible to do that, right? I'm human. I can admit that.
No, it is possible.
I'm not full blown. I don't go to church every day.
No, ma'am. If there were,
go ahead.
If there were 50 billion people, there might be two identical fingerprints. But there's only about 7 billion people. It's not likely.
Okay, whatever. So but none of them.
It is possible that we do have identical fingerprints at some point.
How's that? Not even your dental. Not even dental is identical.
It's mathematics, right? If you're going to have
no, it's not mathematics. It's impossible to even explain. Correct? If you can explain that, I'll explain to you. Okay, go ahead.
Certain numbers of configurations of molecules in our DNA that can have, and the point is that there might be a few million or a few billion possibilities. But when it comes to so if you have 8 billion people and there's 8 billion possibilities, you're going to get one person with a particular form of DNA, and they're all going to be unique. But if there's 50 billion possibilities, right, then you need 50 billion people to match, to have two different possible fingerprints. That's the point. It's mathematics and probability. The more people there are, the more likely to find two people with the same fingerprint.
Okay, so you just tried to explain that, right? And you're saying it's mathematical, whatever. But me and you bleed, and you're saying that somebody that was a Bible that was around for years, not just a book, this is a Bible that nobody's changed. Now, there could be somebody like you that came along and said, you know what? I'm going to add to this book.
Man, the Bible has been changed multiple times. It's been translated multiple times. It's been inputted. It's been changed, altered, taken stuff out of. The Book of Enoch was taken out of it. The Bible is probably the most altered book of all time, okay? But more importantly, it's irrelevant because just because something hasn't been altered doesn't mean it's true. Man, you believe in talking donkeys, talking snakes, people that walked on water, turned their body into bread. You believe in nonsense. I want evidence for this or go away. One last chance. Yeah, she doesn't know how to unmute herself. Let's get the next victim here. 1 in 64 trillion chance. Great. So if there were 64 trillion people, then there would be 2 people with the same fingerprint. That's the point. It's mathematics, guys. That's the point. There's no, by the way, other animals have separate unique fingerprints too, like chimps. They have unique fingerprints too. We're not special. It's so appealing to sit there and say we are special because we're human, but it's not true. It's egocentric to do so. There's nothing special about us.
Oh wait, is it cat?
Like, we know you don't got the
No, it's not cat. What the fuck?
Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, never mind.
This nigga said it's cat. This nigga said.
Yo, 1 second. I have the.
Keep tapping, guys. Keep tapping. Let's get some more peeps in here.
Hey, yo. Can you hear me?
Yep. What do you got?
I actually got proof of God, and you won't believe me. It was on Facebook. I saw it on a Facebook post. It said God was real, so he's real.
Hey, what do you got? Sean?
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
Yes, everything works on imagination. I would say yes.
So we evolved from fish? Well, no, our ancestors were fish about 300 million years ago, but we share common ancestry.
Hello?
It's not that we come from fish. Hey, what do you got?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, to comprehend what that is real, bro. I mean, the only way that you can see it, you're not gonna feel it the way you expect it. Like imagine that
So
like a
you have to
fairy.
speak up and you have to be louder and clear. We can't hear you.
You can't see it like you look at it. It's not like a fairy tale. You have to see it and feel it through people, bro. God is energy, frequency through people, bro.
Okay,
Like
then where is this frequency? Where is it?
it's just like I don't know how to explain it, bro. Like God is everywhere. And it's also the enemy.
Is
You
God
know
up
that
my
you know
ass? Is he up my ass?
well, not that way though. I mean God is everything, bro. Like for
You can't
example,
have it both ways, sir. You can't just say he's everywhere, and then when I say is he up my ass, you say no, right? You
well,
can't have contradictory beliefs, otherwise you're fallacious. I want evidence of God. I don't care if it's everywhere. How do you know it's everywhere? And what do you mean by it everywhere?
like have you ever experienced like where that you're about to have like an accident or whatever, like a car accident or something that's about to like happen to you and then all of a sudden somebody save you and people save you, bro. It's just like people
Okay. How about the people that are not saved and die in car accidents? Does that mean God doesn't exist?
well, maybe it was their time, maybe because maybe it was
Oh,
their
it was their
time.
time. See, you always win in your view. You assemble your belief in such a way that you always win, that you can never be wrong, right? That's a sign that you're just pretending.
Have you ever read the book of Job?
Yeah, it's nonsense. Just like your entire Bible, it's nonsense. Do you have evidence of God for the last time? Actual evidence?
What I'm trying to tell you is just like you know what I mean. Everybody gets tested the same way.
Yeah. Next.
So do you believe that imaginary means unreal?
It means it doesn't exist in reality. Just your mind.
Okay, what is reality?
Seems to be time, space, matter, stuff like that.
So is reality imaginary, or is it just not? It's real.
Reality is real. It's because it's called reality.
But it's still imaginary too.
No.
Yeah, because
It's real.
Your brain,
Sir, do you think the clouds are...
your brain imagines your reality.
No, it doesn't.
Everything is imaginary, really.
No, we don't imagine reality. We observe reality with our brain.
Yeah, exactly. But your brain
doesn't-
imagines it could all be a hallucination.
Sir, this is really pathetic. I'm sorry. This is embarrassing. Reality is separate from the mind. Clearly, as far as we can see. Now, you could be a solipsist or an idealist, sure. The problem is that this is actually irrelevant to the conversation at hand. Whether or not reality is an illusion, it doesn't mean God exists. It doesn't mean that magic exists. I'm asking you a simple question. Where's your evidence for God? If you don't have it, just...
You can't prove nothingness.
So then why do you believe in God?
Because you can either know nothingness, or not, or choose not to know nothingness.
I don't even know what nothing is.
Nothing is what you call God.
God is nothing. So God doesn't exist?
God is the existence and the non-existence. It's both the same thing.
That's a contradiction, sir. God is and is not existence. That's fallacious. Congratulations. Oh, what's happening to people these days? Like, what's our education system doing? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Unfortunately.
Well, reality for most all is the same. So I agree there's reality.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Now, do you have evidence for God?
What about deja vu? Energy is not created nor destroyed. You've probably gotten deja vu before, right? There's something there. We all have. Everyone's has that. There's something about that.
It's called your brain fucks up. Your brain fucks up all the time. It hallucinates. It dreams. It has dumb visions. The brain is a faulty mechanism.
What you were saying before, there's so many permutations and variables with our bodies. It's so complicated.
Yeah, and
there has to be a creator. Somebody. If I don't make my bed, it's never going to get built in this reality.
Okay,
right?
so I can't make my bed, so therefore God exists? Is this your argument? Because you make a bed, that means God's real?
No, someone has to make the bed. In this universe, someone had to make it.
Does somebody have to make the clouds?
Yeah, the system. He made the system that makes the clouds.
Is there somebody in the clouds with a hose spraying down the water to make it rain?
No, it's the system. The creator was so intelligent. He created a system that the universe itself is like alive.
He was so intelligent, he created cancer and disease. And
I hear you there.
Look, the point is this. There is nothing in our universe that requires special agency. Everything, including me and you, are subject to the laws of nature. And just like just like clouds are natural, they seem to be without meaning or agency to make it rain, the same can be said for our bodies. No matter how complex we are, there is a natural mechanism that explains this. It's called natural selection. And that explains why we are this way and so complex. Because you're missing the 4 billion years of evolution that preceded us. You're missing all that. And you're saying, look, we're so complex. There has to be somebody. We're complex, I agree, but it doesn't mean God's real. Because we
back to that. If evolution was, the strong survive, why do we have morality? Why is there morality there? To me, it would seem that morality would be, back 100,000 years ago, it would be not a good thing. If you want to fight someone that has no morals, you're not going to beat that person.
Morality does not come from evolution itself. Morality is a systematic way of evaluating the consequences to your actions. What we evolved are limbic systems in the brain, which are responsible for empathy and emotion and things like that. But we evolved to be empathetic beings. We didn't evolve certain morality. Morality changes. It adapts to the conditions of a society or civilization. But the point is that
Right, but what I'm saying
we
is
don't
the
need,
strong.
look, we don't need God for morality. What explains morality is the fact that we as humans, equipped with limbic systems and brains, we are able to conduct evaluations of our surroundings and come to moral conclusions about how we want to live and behave with each other. That's a perfectly good moral system without needing a God.
Right. It's just disheartening. We grow up. I grew up Catholic. I'm not a literalist. We don't believe the Bible word for word. It was always a parable.
How you grew up. I don't care. I want evidence to God or go away.
Well, the Bible itself are parables. It keeps it simple so people can understand things.
It's too simple. It talks about talking snakes and talking donkeys.
True, I hear you there.
Nonsense. Look, I want evidence of God. Do you have any actual evidence or just a story?
I brought up this, the double slit light test before a couple weeks ago when I was talking with you. As we're observing something, I know quantum is a different thing, but to me that seems proof that it knows whether we're watching or not.
Well, you're wrong, and I explained this to you, and you seem to not have listened to what I told you.
I heard what you're saying. It's just an observation. If
you keep yapping and you never let me respond to you, that's why you're still a Christian. Listen, the double slit experiment has nothing to do with a conscious observer. It has to do with any measurement, and no matter if it's conscious or not. If I have a measuring device next to an electron or a photon passing by the slit, it is now entangled with that electron, and hence you will be in that world where there is one specific electron and not a wave. It does not matter if that measuring device is conscious or not. Entanglement still occurs whether or not we're conscious. So the point is, your argument is bad. There does not need to be a conscious observer that changes reality. Because even if that was true, which it's not, it doesn't mean that God exists or that there's some magic man that cares about you. All that means is that the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics could be a possible interpretation. So I want actual evidence of God and not just, oh, look, this science stuff sounds cool. Let me just pretend God fits into there. No, I want honest evidence. Please unmute yourself.
I appreciate you talking to me today more so. It's a big question. It's huge.
Yeah, and unfortunately you can't answer it in any honest way. I don't care how big it is. The problem is that you've done nothing to get us even close to answering it. Hey, what do you got?
Okay, so hi. So the debate is God is imaginary or whatever, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want me to prove that he has existed, correct?
Do you have any evidence of God?
I do, actually. In my own everyday life, I see God. I seek God, you know? Like, are you an atheist?
Ma'am, what does God look like to you?
What is God? God is not a figure.
So how did you see him?
He is a spirit. I see him within me because God is within me. What is so funny?
So how do you know you see him if it's the same thing as you? It's literally it's just yourself. You're pretending you're God.
It's not just myself. I have seen him make miracles in my life, move in my life.
How do you know?
And are you saying that's just a coincidence?
It could be. How do you know that God helped you?
Because, are you not listening?
How did God help you?
I'm not gonna say all my personal stuff or whatever.
No. How do you know that God helped you?
Because I have faith, because I believe.
Okay, and I have faith that you're wrong.
You can have faith that I'm wrong then. But in the name of Jesus, I rebuke you. Like, what?
In the name of Spaghetti Monster, I rebuke you. Go away, antipasta. Go away, spaghetti. Like, Anybody can make up words and pretend they have belief in God because they have faith in it. Faith is unreliable. It works against you, not for you, because anybody can have it. That's the problem with faith. It doesn't very. It's not a good job at demonstrating truth. So, I want how you know that God helped you and it wasn't just a coincidence. How do you tell the difference between coincidence and God? How do you tell the difference? And if you can't do that, you don't have a place in this debate.
Wait, I'm sorry, this is so funny. You're talking about coincidence and rah rah or whatever, right? So I'm thinking you believe in the Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang is a model that contains many facts and evidences behind it that we
You a damn lie, cause ain't no way. So you believe we're just on a floating rock and we just came to appear out of a monkey's ass, correct?
No, and I would like you to stop being so disingenuous and actually partake in this conversation
Well,
honestly.
you need to take
Because
your own advice,
I
honestly.
guarantee you don't even know what the Big Bang is. What's the Big Bang?
Sweetie, I can pull up scripture.
Ma'am, do you know what the Big Bang is?
Nope, because I believe in God.
Yeah.
Why am I gonna
So you just concede that you're being dishonest. You don't even know what you're arguing against. That is not how you debate somebody. And I know you want to come up here and spout this nonsense about your God, but I don't care. I'm not here to be preached at. I want evidence. I'm not like everybody else on this app that lets you preach and yap. I want data. I want to go now. I want evidence. If you don't have it, go away and cry. I don't care. I want evidence. People are confused. They want answers. They don't know how to think anymore. That's what we need to help. We need to think critically.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
Hey, okay, I'm not gonna say I agree with this, agree what I'm arguing for, but I have seen the different perspectives on it. And we were talking about the Big Bang, right? Well, the Big Bang is a theory at the end of the day, so we don't really have complete evidence that it happened. And then,
Yeah, ma'am, how old are you?
I'm 18, 2005.
Okay, so when we talk about theories in science, we're talking about models which incorporate tons of evidence and data. Theories in science are not just random theories like you would talk about in social media. Scientific theories are rigorously tested, rigorously defined, rigorously
How is the Big
experimented with.
How do people test the Big Bang?
We observe it with telescopes. We can measure the CMB radiation.
How do you test it?
We observe it. We can observe the Big Bang.
That's not testing it, that's observing.
That's a test.
Observations are not the same as I'm pretty sure you've taken a science course. There's observations, but that's part of, that's not the same as testing it.
Yeah, we observed the Big Bang. We observed CMB.
How did we observe the Big Bang if we were not created until much later than the Big Bang?
Man, listen, we can predict with physics that there will be such a thing as CMB radiation, which then we can observe. That's the point. The test in physics is to make predictions, novel predictions that you make about the future, and then you go out and then you make the observations, and that's the test. The test is thinking about something, hypothesizing, going out, observing that. That's a true test in science, and that's what we do at the Big Bang.
What happened before the Big Bang?
What?
What happened before the Big Bang?
Well, quantum fluctuation, apparently. But more importantly,
can you explain
that's actually irrelevant because we know that there's not have to be God. Or the argument here is about God. Just because there might be something before the Big Bang where the Big Bang was a cause.
What was that something?
A quantum fluctuation.
Can you explain what that is?
Well, I don't really feel like being Bill Nye tonight, but sure, I'll do it.
But, I mean, if we're going into sciences,
there's a potential energy wave function that can fluctuate in terms of its energy degree, and as you have a certain fluctuation occur in a pulse vacuum state, it inflates. This inflation causes, in a scalar field, causes inflaton particles to precipitate, yielding gluon quark plasma, which then it turns into an inflating universe, which becomes colder and develops into dark matter and dark energy, which then causes galaxies and solar star systems to form. over cosmic evolution.
All right, how did that cause the Big Bang?
I just explained this to you. Quantum fluctuation. These are random fluctuations that occur in scalar fields which exist in empty space.
And can you tell me why you believe that God is imaginary?
Because it's too dumb to exist. It makes a universe for no reason. It gives us one hole to eat and breathe from. It produces our reproductive systems next to our waste systems. It does a bad job in actually guiding our planet. There's starving people that don't deserve. There's so much suffering in the wild. There's the problem of evil, divine hiddenness, the lack of evidence for it, the omni paradoxes. There's a whole host of issues with your God.
So how was humanity created?
We were not. We evolved. And evolution is a product of natural selection. It is when you have organic molecules interacting in such ways that yield more complex beings over time. You there?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think this through.
Okay.
Because I'm arguing for a stance I don't really take. I'm just trying to see
Keep thinking. Keep thinking. That's good. We want you to think. Thinking is good. It helps you.
Hello?
Hey, what do you got?
Wait, no. Wait. Wait. Wait, yeah, I agree with you. God is not.
People want answers. Well, I can give you answers, but you don't understand.
Hey. Well, you say God is imaginary. Well, the thing is, in the Bible, it literally says Jesus was God. And the thing is, his robe still exists in this planet, by the way. You can literally search it up. His robe still has his blood. His crown still exists, by the way. So there's that. There's also somebody that took a
Hold
picture.
on. Okay. And in Star Wars, sir,
In the picture, in black and
in
white.
Star Wars, Luke, Darth Vader
Why are you
said,
talking
"Luke, I'm your
Star
father."
Wars, buddy? You can't even.
In Star Wars, Darth Vader said, "Luke, I'm your father." And guess what? We have his clothing. We have Darth Vader's robe. We have his cape. We have his helmet. It's in Universal Studios. Oh, wait, that's a movie. Yeah, because just like your Bible, it's a story. It's a story.
Jesus didn't wrote this. Abraham did. So I don't know why you coming up with science or bullshit that doesn't even make sense when it's literally in the Bible. You sound dumb in reality. Because one, it's like you haven't studied the Bible, but yeah, you want to talk about science when you haven't even studied that. You don't even know what created the Big Bang. What happened before the Big Bang, even before that, huh? Can you explain that?
Yeah, I just did. And if you listened, you would know. And more importantly, what came before God? What came before
But
God?
what happened before that?
What was before God?
God is eternal, buddy.
Great. So then we can say the universe. Then we can say the universe is eternal.
The universe not eternal, buddy.
Why not?
It's billions of light years of distance. It's created by the Big Bang.
Sir, look.
Apparently, your theory,
Sir,
the
can you
Big Bang
listen?
theory.
Sir, just relax.
You want to believe a thing? You don't want to believe.
I know you're angry, but relax. Take a chill pill, bro. Like, relax.
Just trying to tell you, can't handle the truth.
Look. The universe can be eternal. The universe can be eternal. There's no need for a God. I'm asking you for evidence of a God. Do you have any?
Please explain.
What?
How is the universe eternal? Please explain.
Well, the universe, it doesn't defy mathematical law. It doesn't defy any scientific law. It doesn't defy logical law. The universe can be eternal. That's not an argument. Laughing is not an argument.
You're definitely going to hell for blasphemy, buddy.
Yeah, that was the best argument for God we've ever gotten.
Hello?
Hey, what do you got?
Hello?
Yes, what do you got?
Yo, what's up, bro?
This guy.
Yo. Yo, what's up? Bro, why are you hating on Jesus, bro?
I'm not hating on it. I don't believe in it.
Why you don't believe it? Why? Because Satan is on your life?
No, because there's no evidence of God. Do you have
Bro,
any?
I got evidence, so much evidence, but you don't even deserve that you can judge people who believe in God. If you don't have no proof, don't judge people, bro.
I'm not judging you. I just you came up to my live. I'm asking you for evidence.
You used to be Muslim, bro. Now you don't believe in the Quran. You don't hate Jesus. You hate the
That's
Prophet
high.
Muhammad. So what do you believe in, bro? Tell us what you believe in.
I believe in facts supported by evidence.
Okay, you always say the same thing every live. You say scientists, goblins, whatever you say, bro. Every live you say the same shit.
Great. So now you have any evidence of God? Because every time I say those things, they're still correct.
Bro, you say fairy tales every single time. Can you believe?
And every time I'm right.
No, you're not. Everyone hates you in the chat. You know that, right?
Then prove it.
All your fans in here, they're not your fans. They hate you.
I don't
Bro,
care.
listen. We're not here judging.
Yes, you're here judging me. You're the one judging me, if anything, and you're being dishonest. And now, for the last time, I'm asking you for evidence of your magic wizard that flew a horse to the moon. If you don't give me that, I will kick you. So just like Liam Nielsen said, and
Give me a second.
give me evidence to go away.
Yo, just give me a second.
I
Listen.
have a very special set of skills. If you don't give me
Listen, bro. Listen. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Who created ocean? You think a human created ocean? Who created the sky? We have the cross, we have the nails that God died on, and we have everything in there. So
And I have Cat in the
what are you
Hat's
saying there's
hat.
no proof of it?
I have Cat in the Hat's hat that he wore. It's just a movie. It's just a story.
He tries to use humor as a way to cope.
Bro, listen. Listen, bro. Listen. Humor to you. Listen, bro. I'm gonna give you one advice. It's up to you. You have the right to do whatever you want. But I'm telling you this: if you want to see God, you ask God to give you signs, and He will show it to you. But if you don't,
give me
Okay,
signs.
here he goes. He's gonna do the same thing like always. He's gonna use this same argument as every single person that
Bro,
says this shit.
he have-
every single person that says that.
you have
signs.
no life to do anything funny to make people laugh and be enjoying life how it's work. But he being worshipped by negative energy, who worshipped by the devil, who is not
Get it all
respectful
out,
to
buddy.
people. Understand God's perspective.
Hey, if you don't believe in Jesus, right? What do you believe in?
Facts.
No. You obviously.
He's dumb.
How did the world come to be? Tell me.
It didn't.
It didn't. So it just existed just like
So
that.
you created the ocean, you stupid.
It could have always existed in some
Okay, show
way.
me proof. Show me proof.
I'm not. Did I ever say I knew for
Show
sure?
me
I'm
proof.
saying it could have been always there.
Show me proof.
Show me proof of God.
Show me proof that
We have.
Show me proof that the world just existed just like that. Show me.
Well, it's possible, is it not?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question.
How is it possible?
Well,
Bro.
it doesn't define any logic or math. It's perfectly.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you. Listen, I'm gonna tell you why now.
Fucking nerd. What are you talking
Just
about?
give me
You
a second,
fucking
bro.
nerd?
Give me a second. Listen, bro. If you're telling me God doesn't exist, who created ocean? Who created the sky? Who created the universe?
So water forms in nebula clouds.
The universe is multiple levels. So
Oh,
you're
you
telling
keep
me
asking-
the
you
ocean
keep asking
created
for the-
itself?
Hold on, sir. You keep asking. I'm going to answer it now, right? You asked a question. Let me answer it.
Yeah, go ahead. Answer, princess. Go ahead.
So water forms from H2O. It's two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom.
So
What happens is there's such a thing-
every job we
there's
created
such a
it,
thing
that we
called
created the ocean.
covalent bonds. That
You know how
chemical
much it
bond-
takes.
Sir,
Listen. You know
hold
how
on.
much it takes.
All right.
You know.
You know that you're gone, right? Next. Water is a covalent bond between hydrogen atoms and oxygen atoms. And chemically, they merge together and form water. And we know that water, the forces, the catalysts that yield water are found in nebula clouds all around space. It turns out that water is a very common ingredient in the universe. It's not rare. Water is very common. And what happens is The water in these clouds precipitate, they freeze in planetary disks, and these disks can, these rocks that also precipitate can grasp onto this water in form of hydrates. These are asteroids, these are rocks in space that contain water inside those bonds, inside those rocks. And what happens is those rocks slowly make their way to the Earth. The Earth collects these rocks, being bombarded by them. They melt in the atmosphere, they form gases, water vapor, and they precipitate rain in oceans. That's how a lot of the water got to the Earth. But also, a lot of water came from hydrates underneath the surface from the Earth's formation. A lot of that water was already there when the Earth formed and seeped up the ground because it's less dense than the rocks. So the point is that there are mechanisms that allow us to understand how water arrived here. And implanting your notion of a God is never required. There's a more spectacular way of understanding how the universe works without God. Even more spectacular, even more wondrous. The universe happens to be wondrous without a God. All right, so let's get the next victim here, and please subscribe to the YouTube and keep tapping. Hello?
Hello? Can you
Hear
hear
me?
me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? The only thing I'm gonna sit here and say is if if you really genuine about the question you have put up on your live, about proving you wrong about God's existence, the only thing I'll sit here and say if you're really interested and you really want to know if God does exist, then you can either, I would say, to sit there on live, you can.
Almost fell asleep. Hey, what do you got?
Yo, hello.
What do you got?
Yo, I'm just like trying to say, like, I'm not trying to prove you wrong or anything, but like, I feel like if you genuinely do not believe that God exists, right? I feel like it's fine with that, because different people have different opinions, right? But I feel like it would be disrespectful to people who believe in God, like to just to you putting God is imaginary. Like, for me, I don't like. I'm not Christian, so I don't believe in God, but I.
Guys, I understand where you're coming from. I used to be a religious too. I understand from your perspective. It seems like when you come on TikTok and you see a guy like me go, God is imaginary, God's not real, debating, talking about these things, you feel like you're being personally attacked. It's not. It's not a personal attack on you. Beliefs are beliefs. They're not people. You're not a belief, you're a person. So when I say that God's not real or God's imaginary, it's not an attack on you, it's an attack on your belief. And beliefs don't, in my view, deserve respect. They don't deserve exemption from criticism, including my beliefs. Right? Whatever I believe is always scrutinized and should be scrutinized and should be criticized when it can be. So that's why I withhold being personally attached to any ideology. That's why atheism and secularism is way more healthy. It's a way more healthy attitude because I'm open to new ideas. I'm not forming this bubble around me which stops me from learning. I'm open to any new idea, and I'm open to criticizing any idea that I think is wrong. And we all should be. That's the world we should be living in. One in which we're not scared of talking about these things. These are big questions. And if we want answers, if we're honest about this journey to the truth, you're not gonna be scared of being criticized in terms of your beliefs.
God is imaginary. Which God? Hello. Mike Sevel Twin. Which God? All God? The God.
Whatever God you believe, it seems to be that they're all wrong. They're all
Which
not right.
God?
Everyone.
Everyone? You mean a person? God is a person to you. Who's Allah? Which God do you...
There you guys. Keep tapping, please, and subscribe to the YouTube.
Hey, hello, can you hear me?
Yep. What do you got?
All right, awesome. Did you previously? I think I heard mention that you were previously Muslim. Just want to clarify because that means I can skip an explanation or two.
I don't see how this is relevant. No, I was never Muslim, but do you have any?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how do you play out the? I don't know if you heard about this, but like the Prophet in Islam, Prophet Muhammad, made a lot of predictions. A lot of them based on future society or how Earth previously existed, something that he shouldn't have had knowledge to. So how do you subscribe to that idea of how he could have had that knowledge without
No.
it being
Give an
given
example.
to him
Give an
in some
example.
sort of way?
Give an example.
So, for example, he made the claim that the world will not come to an end until the deserts of Saudi Arabia were to return to being green again. So the claim that he's making is two. One, Saudi Arabia would eventually become green again, and it being a desert, well, being the desert it was at the time. And two, that Saudi Arabia at one point was green, it being in the past. Which, according to NASA, Saudi,
It's not turning green.
it is actually.
No, it's not turning green. There might be some plants and shrubs that are growing, sure, because of the increased greenhouse gases, but this has no bearing on the notion that a God exists. I mean, anybody can predict this, by the way. This is not amazing. It's not an amazing prediction. Anybody can hypothesize that there might be forests where there were deserts. This doesn't seem to be coming from a God, to me.
This is two-part predictions. One was the prediction that Saudi Arabia at once was green from a person who was a Bedouin Arab who had never seen a green Saudi Arabia or it being recorded in recent history. So that's a two-part prediction.
Look, it doesn't take a God to understand that, hey, there were trees before and now there's desert. Like, desertification happens quite often and it can happen in a lifetime. Climate changes all the time, and people can observe desertification and have a sense that there was greenery before, then there's desert. And then perhaps one day it will turn back to greenery. This is not a magical idea that requires godly knowledge. This is something anybody can hypothesize.
Fine. So let's put this into context. This was, let's say, roughly 14, like this was more than 1,000 years ago. Let's go through the series of claims since we're making that of Muhammad and stuff that he said. Universe is constantly expanding. That's something only happened in recent science.
No, he never said that.
It is written in the Quran.
Muhammad was an illiterate person who knew nothing of science, and he
Then
never said the
how is it
universe was expanding. He didn't even know about galaxies. He didn't know about the universe. He thought the universe was in a firmament. He thought the entire universe was in the sky. He didn't know that other planets had different orbits around the sun. He thought that everything orbited the Earth.
It is a verse in the Quran.
Sure, the Quran's garbage. It's nonsense. It talks about talking snakes, Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark. These things are nonsense.
All right. Then again, my question is, how does someone who is, as you're saying, complete nonsense and all these things, as per your perspective, how does he have knowledge on things and science that we only reveal today?
He didn't. Muhammad knew nothing of science, and he got everything he claimed about science wrong. Embryology, he got it wrong. There is no blood sac. That doesn't make sense. Bones don't come before the skin.
They do, actually.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. In embryos, the skin comes before the bones.
Nope. Actually, forming the skeletal plates actually comes first during ossification in the embryology process.
Skin forms first, then the bones. But more importantly, semen does not come from the backbone or the rib.
That is a common misconception because of the Arabic language. Anyway, there are a lot of claims that he's made that are either that a lot of them are right. the universe is constantly expanding. Okay, tell me, how does he know about that?
He didn't.
Are you going to say
Where did he say
did?
the universe is
It's
expanding?
written in the
When
Quran.
did he say the universe is constantly expanding?
There is a verse in the Quran that literally says we created the universe and we're
Which
constantly
one?
expanding it.
Which one? Which one?
Give me 1 second. I just need to address something. 1 second. Someone came in.
There is no such verse. Every time they mention the universe, they're talking about the heavens.
They're talking about what?
The heavens, which is another word for the sky. In an Abrahamic and Arabic cosmology, in Islamic cosmology, the heavens contains the stars and the sun and the moon, which is the sky. They thought there was a firmament around the earth, that Allah expanded over the earth. That's nonsense. They had no knowledge of galaxies or cosmic expansion. None of that.
All right. Well, I guess we can agree to disagree, but thanks for your view on this. But
No, look, you came here to debate me, and so far you have failed at giving any actual good reasons. You haven't even given me a verse.
No.
You don't disagree to agree. No.
no, there is a
You're
verse.
gonna get
I
argument
just
and
don't
go
have my
away.
laptop at the moment to
You're
look
either going
through
to
on it.
concede
But
that you're wrong or go away.
no, if you can, I don't know, if you have Google up, you can just Google Quran. We've created the universe and we're constantly expanding. It'll pop up. I don't have my laptop in front of me to pull out the
How do you
verse.
know they were talking about the known universe we know today and not
Oh,
just
there you
the
go. 5147. Some guy in the comments provided it.
Yeah, how do you know that they were talking about the known universe with all the galaxies and not just the firmament that they knew about before?
Well, I'm not a scholar. I'm not someone who can really talk about that in a
Exactly,
full thing.
exactly.
But based on me talking to scholars and talking to them, they have agreed. That's the thing. If you look at tafsir of people who are from,
I don't care. The top seers think that the earth is flat. The Quran is a flat earth book. It's an ancient garbage book of myth. There is no truth in the Quran whatsoever. It's a very violent, toxic religion. It's very wrong and inaccurate in everything it says. On all the attempts it makes scientifically, they fail miserably. It says that cow's milk is pure in 1666. That's not true. It says that stars fall from the sky. That's not true.
give me verses for these things. If you're making these claims, I need to know so I can look it up.
1666, I think 62:1.
62:1. Do you mind if I kind of get off the app and just look it up real quick?
Yeah, but I'm surprised you don't even know what the Quran says and all the fallacious nonsense in the Quran. I'm surprised you don't know about these things. It seems to me that maybe you've been biased this whole time.
No. I look at things and I assess them. I might have read it.
Great. So when you assess the 5147, when it says the heavens were expanded, do you know that the heavens could mean just the sky and not the entire known universe we know today? Do you agree with that?
No, but here's the thing. I've talked to scholars and I've talked to them, and this is upon after discussion. I don't simply ask people.
Did they have that Muhammad was talking about the known universe you know today?
Sorry, repeat that. You cut out for a second.
What evidence do you have that Muhammad was discussing about the known universe you know today and not just a firmament?
I don't have proof on what exactly he was talking about because this is back then. I have to take it as per what I understand from the text.
Yeah, that's dishonesty. You Muslims sit there with the Quran and they think that it correlates to modern day because they're biased. They want it to be true. So they go, oh, look, it mentions, they look for keywords like heavens. No, that's not true. Heavens does not equate to the universe you know today.
Here's the thing. We don't know, because when it comes to someone like me and someone like you, we don't have the necessary knowledge of the Arabic Quraysh dialect to understand exactly what it meant. When I talk to scholars, because I can't tell you linguistically this means this, this means that, but it has been explained to me that it does mean universe. But anyway.
Look, the scholars are biased. They're just interpreting things the way they want to because they're of course they're gonna be pro-Muslim because they're Muslim. No shit. But you don't actually have a rigorous, objective way of measuring what these people meant in the story. Also, we have contextually, we have reasons to think that it's also not true because of things like the Quran talks about the Noah's Ark, talking snakes, Adam and Eve. These things are not true. They can't be true.
Look, here's my view of this thing. If we take this situation,
I don't want your view. I want evidence that God is real. And sorry, but the Quran is not going to cut it.
but here's the thing: if you're trying to use science, which is a tool for the observable world, and not even for the metaphysical world, how are you going to use science as an objective tool to measure that?
That's not my problem. That's your problem. How are you
But that's
using science? How are
that's
you
trying
not
to-
using science when you're making scientific claims?
That's like trying to use a hammer for a screw.
No, it is not.
Yes.
You're making scientific claims about the universe, and then you're going to pretend as if your book has the answer? That's not science. You're being so disingenuous.
I'm not being disingenuous.
You're
You're the one trying to use science as a measuring tool for the metaphysical world.
No,
That's
I'm
not.
not.
That doesn't
No,
make
I am
sense.
not. There is no metaphysical world. We're talking about the real world, and you're saying that the Quran mentions about the universe. That's a scientific claim that you have not backed up by any science at all. All you're using is your book of fables that's so vague that anybody can interpret it any way they want to. That is not a solid, rigorous way of doing science.
All right, man. All right. Thanks for your time.
Guys, Muslims do this all the time. The Islamic culture brings people up so indoctrinated that they think the Quran has all the answers and cannot be wrong. Well, I'm sorry, the Quran is wrong. It is terribly wrong. And we know that Noah's Ark is not real. The entire beginning of the story is fake and gets embryology all wrong. Bones don't come before skin in the embryo. It's not. There's no blood clot. Cow's milk is not pure. Stars do not fall from the sky. The earth doesn't. The sun doesn't orbit the earth like the Quran says. It's not flat. And what Muslims do is they pick and choose the verses they pick and choose the keywords they want, and they go, "Oh, look, it mentions the universe." That word "universe" is translated from heavens, which means sky. See, the problem is you're exploiting the vagueness of the book in your favor, biased in a biased way, and that's the problem. There's no objective way of verifying what they meant, and there will never be such a thing. That's why using the Quran as evidence of God doesn't work. Hey, what do you got?
Yo, so I'm not a religious person. I'm pretty unbiased on the matter. But have you heard of Dr. Gerald Schroeder?
No.
He's an MIT scientist, 7 years on the physics staff. His words were, "Science has discovered God." Now, if you'd allow me, I'd like to try and just kind of relay his explanation more than mine, because I'm not an MIT scientist.
No, you're not going to do that nonsense. You're going to give me actual sources, scientific sources.
That's what I'm doing.
No, you're not. You're giving me some random guy, some wacko. I want a scientific source, not some wacko.
Bro, he's an MIT scientist.
I don't care who he is. Science does not appeal to authority. Science appeals to the evidence. So what's your evidence?
Right, well, he would have you pull up that WMAP and then observe
You watch that dumb TikTok, that WMPP, and you guys think it's evidence of God. No, I watched the video. It's nonsense. That person has no idea what he's talking about.
How is it nonsense?
Because there is no evidence of a beginning for the universe, nor is there evidence of a God making it. All you have is a claim from some wacko and from MIT who is an old fart. Who has outdated knowledge with it.
Okay, well, can we talk about this aspect of it? Less than 50 years ago, the overwhelming opinion was that the universe is eternal, and yeah, like you said, there's no beginning. until Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson discovered that echo of the Big Bang, the energy.
There is still no consensus about the beginning or not.
George Gam George
No.
George
And it's
Gamow
still
predicted it.
irrelevant, sir. It's still irrelevant. Whether the universe began or not, it's irrelevant. It doesn't mean God exists. I'm
No,
sorry.
it doesn't. No, I'm getting there. It doesn't mean God exists. It's just like
Get to the evidence of God.
right. Okay. Could you allow me to, please?
Can you hurry up?
Okay. So George Gamow predicted that 60 years ago. And then it was discovered. Right?
Sir, can you please give evidence for God now?
Yes, the creation force, the quantum fluctuations.
They're not God. It's not God.
If they create the universe, they
No,
predate
they
it.
don't create any. Do you even know what a quantum fluctuation is?
Yeah.
What is
I've also heard you explain it on here like 3
What
times.
is a quantum fluctuation?
Dude, I'm not going to repeat you or read these words
Yeah, you don't even know what it is.
for the sake
You're
for the
yapping.
sake of you
Don't know what it is.
patronizing me.
Don't
Do you want
know.
to give another lesson?
Do you want it? No, I'm asking you for evidence and you can't give it. It's not my fault you can't give it.
Well, I'm trying to explain it to you.
Go ahead, explain the quantum fluctuation, explain why it's evidence of God.
Well, and I'm not talking about God in the sense of like a man in the clouds or like a biblical or like a Muslim God. Like,
Look, if all you're gonna say is that there's some natural mechanism that made the universe the way it is today, I agree. It doesn't mean it's God. It means there's some natural phenomenon like clouds raining down. It doesn't mean God's up in the clouds because it rains.
well, I guess
Doesn't mean there has to God, the cause has to be God.
that's no, that what you're saying is fair because I never asked you what is your God. You're
Great. So why are you here?
no, because you're posing the question. So what's your definition of God?
Not a quantum fluctuation, for sure.
Yo, what's up, Mark?
Hey, what do you got?
I just wanted to come on here and say W Mike. I think that religion puts people's minds.
Thank you, but I want people with who disagree.
Yo, hold on. Can you just explain to me like your beliefs? Just so I'm very new. This is the first time I've entered your live stream. In terms of like your science.
I believe in facts. Now, where's your evidence of God?
Is that it? You just nothing?
I don't care. See, I don't sit there and go, "What do I believe in today?" That's dishonest.
No, I'm talking about your science. In terms of
we don't believe in things in science. We don't believe, right?
Okay, so what are your like facts that support your theories?
My what? I don't have an ideology. I don't have a worldview.
Okay, right. So you know, like our bodies are made up of cells, right? Like billions and billions of cells. They're all systems upon systems upon systems. So I don't know. It just seems pretty crazy to me that someone didn't create that system.
Yeah, this is coming from a very limited scope of reality because you're coming from a perspective where you don't understand natural selection, you don't understand genetics, you don't understand biology, you don't understand you don't understand much about the world, and that's
just
why
like dog breeding and how that
look. From a child's perspective, from a first grader, they're going to look at calculus and go, "That's crazy. This is insane. How do you understand this, right?" But from a college professor, it's easy. It's just what they do daily. So from your perspective, as somebody who doesn't understand science, they're going to look at reality and go, "Wow, this is complex. There has to be something magical happening here." That's the same thing you're doing what a first grader would do when you look at calculus. So the problem is that your scope of reality is so limited that all you can see through is the lens of some God belief because you can't make sense of a natural world where natural things happen and yield natural complexity. That's the problem. That's the disconnect. Okay. The disconnect is your ignorance. You're succumbing to the God that gaps fallacy.
Well,
And
regardless, faith can't prove God. Like science can't prove faith. There will never be a census on what is real, what is not real. Because at the end of the day, it's all a theory because science is something that has to be observed.
right, but there are good theories and there are bad theories, and God's a bad theory.
Albert Einstein's theory was that there is an intelligent being that if you ask for knowledge, you can acquire it. You can Google that.
What theory was that?
That was Einstein's belief that if there was an
Not a
external
theory.
being with all knowledge, that if you ask for knowledge, you could acquire it.
What theory? What scientific theory was that?
Bro, it's just what he believed in.
Yeah, I don't care what he believed. I care about the facts. I don't care if you're Einstein.
But no one's gonna prove anything though. We're gonna.
That's not my problem. That's your problem. Look, you're making a claim that God exists, and I'm asking you, how do you know this? I know you're
But no one's ever gonna be able to prove it.
Again, that's not my fucking problem. That's your problem. Why do you believe in something that you can't even demonstrate? That's your problem. That's why I'm here. You're making a claim that God exists. I'm saying, how do you know? And all you're going to come back with is, well, I can't prove it. I'm sorry, but that doesn't do anything for us. If you want knowledge about the universe, if you're so desperate to know something, stop pretending to know something and start experimenting and testing and poking reality. See what happens. That's how you know something honestly. What you're doing is pretending that God's real, and then you're complaining that I don't have any that I can't disprove you. That's not a way to truth. They just found out God's not real.
Hi. So, for me, there's undoubtedly proof that God exists. So I'm not gonna try to prove him to you, but I just have a simple question. So, do you believe in the scientific impossibility that nothing created everything?
I don't know what nothing means.
Okay, so nothing means nothing. Means there was nothing, right?
How do you quantify that? Wait, how do you make sense of nothing? If every time you
So
imagine it,
you can't make sense of nothing because nothing don't exist.
okay, great. So that's why I don't believe in nothing. It doesn't
Exactly. So
okay, great. So maybe all there is something. Maybe it's not possible for there to be nothing. Maybe all there can be is something.
of course, there has to be something because nothing comes, from nothing comes from nothing. So therefore, there has to be a creator to make something.
No. So first of all, the initial question you asked is malformed because you're presupposing that there can be a nothing, which that's not what science even said.
I mean, science says the Big Bang made everything, right, out of nothing.
No.
And the universe created itself, that's
no.
impossible.
No, that's not the Big Bang at all. The Big Bang is simply the expansion of the known universe we know today from a primordial state and expanded. That's all the Big Bang means. It's not the beginning. It's not a creation. It's not at all. It's just expansion.
Okay. But they say like if they track the Big Bang back, they can like put everything in a small little thing, right?
Right. Because the universe is expanding in this direction, we can, rewind the tape back and see that there was one point in time where the universe was smaller, hotter, and denser. But it doesn't mean that's the beginning, because that state could have contracted and expanded again and just go on forever. We don't know. But it doesn't mean God exists.
And it doesn't mean God does not exist.
Well, okay, but what do you mean by God? This is the problem. God is ill-defined, it is unevidenced, it is just a word.
I mean, for me, the proof of God is everywhere. Like the sky, the oceans, the trees, the birds, human beings, the brain, the eyes. The earth, seasons. All this just proves there was a creator. Because
Why?
to be order to like have this earth, we're in the perfect spot in space to have life. This and that. You know what I'm trying to say.
We're also the perfect spot in space to have kids with cancer and bone
I mean,
cancer.
that's just part of the world we live in because it's a fallen creation.
Well, see, no, you can't have it both ways. You can't say everything's perfect for life and then say that there is something bad for
No,
life.
I mean, like I'm trying to say is like we are in the perfect spot to have life,
We're
to
also
sustain life.
right, but we're also in the perfect spot to have death. So
Correct. But
so
there's a
you can't
reason
have it
why
both
we die.
ways.
You know, the Bible teaches us that we are in basically death sentence because
Look, sir, you're not understanding. There is nothing about our world that objectively hints to something special about our position or configuration within it. Maybe we happen to be one world and there's many other possible worlds in which other beings exist in under different parameters. And that's it. There doesn't have to be somebody making us in
so
particular.
you think it's possible that there's life in other universes and stuff like that? Okay, that's faith. In believing in God
No,
also
because
requires faith.
no, because it requires an understanding of what it means to be a living entity. And we already know what living entities are. We have an example of them right now. Us. If we can extrapolate this, the fact that there's living beings here, well, we can extrapolate this to the rest of the planets and hypothesize that there could be other aliens. Not faith at all.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, you have a good night.
All right. Thank you.
Hello?
Hey, what do you got?
You're a bitch.
I like this guy's name, Gibberishing Gibberish. Keep tapping, guys, and please subscribe to the YouTube.
Hello?
Hey, what do you got?
It's not too late to repent, Mikey baby.
What am I repenting for? What did I do wrong? I use my brain?
Your sins, your blasphemy.
So your God's up in heaven crying because what? I don't believe in him? Aw, poor man. Do you think I deserve to die forever and be burned forever because I don't believe in somebody? Is that fair?
Well, the way I see it is with the religion, I feel like God would have given us proof, but I feel like the religion is heavily based off of faith.
That's unfortunate because faith doesn't lead to reliable results at all. I can have faith, just as you have faith in God, I can have faith in no God. And both of our hypotheses have the same amount of evidence. It's the same nonsense.
Are you aware of maybe the cross references between the Bible and its predictions?
Like a flat earth and talking snakes and talking donkeys? Yeah, I know. I'm aware of those predictions. They're all nonsense. Oh, he left. Okay. He was not expecting me to challenge him there. He was expecting to say, "Oh, you better pray and run away."
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what do you got?
Can you hear me? God is imaginary. That's what you think.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
what do you got for us today?
Yeah, so I just saw this live and you said God is imaginary, right?
Right.
Because God is comes in your imaginations,
Mm-hmm.
right? So at least you admit that the existence of God, because no matter if it comes in your imagination or whatever, but you admit the existence, right?
Yeah, I can imagine a unicorn. Doesn't mean it's real, though, right? Anybody can imagine a
No,
man.
so okay, I have an example. Did you see ever your thinking power? But you admit you have a thinking power, right?
Yeah, I have the thinking
Did you
power.
see your thinking power ever again, like in your life, like how it looked like?
Like
You are still
thought.
thinking, right?
We can see thoughts. Thoughts are electrochemical impulses in the brain.
No, like, but did you see them in a physical shape?
Oh, yeah, we can see them. They're a physical phenomenon in the brain.
In the brain, but have you ever see like in front of your eyes?
Yeah, we can see with fMRI machines.
We can, no, we can is something else, but did you see or not?
Yeah, I did.
Your own.
I'm wrong?
No, did you see your own thinking power in a physical shape?
Yes, I can see thoughts on fMRI. Yes, we can see thoughts and extrapolate that to me and any other brain.
No, bro, no. But God is something real, bro. That's why this word is exist in your mind too.
Give evidence.
God says, see my signs all around the world.
I don't care what your God says. It's not real to even say anything. I don't want you to preach. Again, I want evidence next time.
And there's no mention of miraculous gifts. You have this lessening of the miraculous as the canon of Scripture.
All right, one last victim here because I'm really tired.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
Can you hear me?
Unfortunately.
If I can share what your question says, can you prove me wrong that God is imaginary? Can you hear me good?
Mm-hmm.
The only way that I know God is real is if I pray and say, Lord, I need this in my life, and God answers it. That's the only way that I can prove that God is real.
Okay, let's try this. God, I need $1 million in my life. Amen.
Yeah, I know, but we can't just put God to the test.
Oh, now we can't do that? Okay, so how do we do it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But explain to me what is God to you?
Imaginary.
So he just imagination, something man made.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't believe life after death?
Mm-mm.
That kind of sucks.
No, it's actually amazing because the fact that we live for a finite amount of time and we have a finite amount of people around us in a finite world, that makes everything more precious because every day I'm reminded that it could be my last day. This could be my last chance of life and experience. And that drives me to do amazing things and help people and to be up here and talk and love my family and friends because I recognize that this is finite. Whereas if you live forever, there's no reason to get up in the morning and do anything because there's no drive. You have another day and you always will. There's something about being finite that makes us precious and valuable, just like diamonds.
Just like you said, do you have any goals?
Many goals.
You can share one goal that you want that you have not achieved.
To kick you off from my life.
Okay.
Goal achieved. Next.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
Hey. So I can prove God is not imaginary because I've seen it.
Is he white?
No, he's not white.
Is he black?
No, he's not black.
Then what is he?
He's what's it called? He's the same color as my skin. I have a question for you. I've got a question for you. Are you deaf? Like, can you hear me? You good? You can hear me?
I'm listening, sir. We're listening to you.
Okay. Relax. Why are you gay?
Oh, so you want to be a homophobe?
How long have you been gay for? No. I'm not being a homophobe. I asked you a question.
I'm not gay, but what's wrong with being gay?
I don't believe that. That's the truth. God knows when you're lying.
I'm not lying, sir.
You are lying. You're lying to me and you're lying to everybody in this life.
Prove it.
You prove me wrong. Prove to me that you're not gay.
I like females and I don't have sex with men.
Okay, well,
There
prove
you
to me
go.
that you've never had sex with a man.
Just because I can't prove it to you right now doesn't mean it's not true.
Well, that's your logic, isn't it?
Yeah, you
That's your
don't.
own logic.
I don't. I'm not asking
So
for
what you're
proof.
telling me is you're gay.
No, I'm not telling you that.
So you're bisexual.
Now, do you have
Because
an actual?
you're either gay or you're
Do you
bisexual.
have an actual?
There's
Do
no
you have an
way. There's no
actual?
way.
Do you have an actual argument for us today, or do you have homophobia?
No, I actually came on here just to fucking like pick on you, bro. Like you actually.
Yeah, and it didn't work, right? Because
No,
there's
I
nothing
did.
wrong.
Because
There's
I'm
nothing
actually like
wrong.
having fun. This is actually fun. Like you're actually gay.
Maybe he's upset that I'm not. See, unfortunately, people like that want to make it seem as if there's something wrong with being gay. It's not. There's nothing wrong with being gay or LGBT. They're just people like you and me. And unfortunately, people like that don't understand them. Their ignorance allows them to be hateful and ignorant and bigoted. It's wrong. He actually thought he had something there.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
So, just one quick question. How can you say that God is imaginary when science within itself is highly theoretical?
I don't see why they're compatible with each other. Why is it the case that God has to exist because science is theoretical?
I'm not necessarily saying that exists or not. I'm saying how your logic of science is theoretical within itself, and then to turn around and say that God is imaginary
So
when they both within themselves
so
are,
no,
within the same realm of being imaginary.
God is no. In science, theories are not just imaginary things. Scientific theories are based on facts and evidence and laws.
Right. So what
Yeah.
would your explanation be for, advanced concepts like the Big Bang theory, for example? That's a highly theoretical concept,
No, we can
and so is
observe it.
God. So how would
No,
you say that?
we can observe the Big Bang.
Right, we can observe it, but we can't necessarily say it happened, and we can't
Yes, we
necessarily
can.
pinpoint
We can
how
say it
exactly it happened.
Look. In science, we have facts to back up our theories, and a theory is a model that attempts to describe how things happen. But there are facts behind the models, like evolution is a fact. The theory of evolution is natural selection, just like atoms and germs. Germs are a theory.
Right, but they're not necessarily proven to be
But there's
facts,
a
correct?
theory, there's a model that explains how germs give us disease, just like the Big Bang. There are facts behind the Big Bang, but we have a model as to how it works.
Right, but what necessarily says those facts are true or not?
The testability of those facts, right? How do we test and verify those things to be true? By observing and testing and experimenting.
So you're basically saying that the applicability of scientific ideas would justify, your claim, correct?
What claim did I make today?
You're basically saying that God is imaginary, yet you're also advocating for science, which is also highly theoretical. Like, this is a highly theoretical, it's a highly theoretical
What do you
field.
mean by highly theoretical? What do you mean by that?
Once again, science is something that's not necessarily, you can't necessarily back majority of. Like, you can prove the Big Bang, you can prove a lot of things when it
Sir,
comes to science.
Look.
How,
Just answer this question. What do you think a scientific theory means?
well, scientific theory basically just theory is just something that is a hypothesis of an order of events, like a sequence of events.
No. A scientific theory is a model that attempts to explain the phenomenon that we observe. It explains the fact. The fact is the Big Bang happened. We don't have all the details as to how it happened. But the Big Bang model is for it. So you don't even understand what you're attacking. This is why you sound.
So you're basically saying that it's a model, like theories are model. What you're basically stating that it's a model. Could God and religion within itself be also a model?
Yeah, well, it could be, but they're bad models. There's no evidence behind them. There's no testability behind them.
Right. So how exactly if both are models, how exactly does science become the optimal model? How is that the
Because scientific
better model?
theories are well tested and more accurately depict reality, whereas the God model does nothing of the sort.
According to who?
Well,
According to who?
Go ahead. Okay, then go ahead and give us evidence of God.
Well, you're the person who's saying defending science. I don't have any evidence
I'm not
necessarily to
defending
prove the
science.
existence of God or not. I'm just questioning your model of science and how you can say that God is
Science,
imaginary when
science
your
is not a
idea
model.
of science is
Sir,
highly fallacious.
science is not a model. It's a method. And how is it fallacious?
Once again, it's like, for example, if you look at string theory, for example, once again, it's a theory. It's not necessarily something that can be proven. I mean, there are many different scientific
Sir, I'm
ideas
not talking
on
about
what the
string theory. Sir, where's the fallacy in science?
Well, if you would let me explain that, I can. I mean, there's a lot of fallacious arguments. You could say that the origin of the universe started from one point. You could also say it started from another
That's not
point,
what
like
science
string
says.
theory.
That's not what science says.
There are multiple theoretical arguments basically to state that the universe exists, you know?
Sir, yeah, no shit, the universe exists. You said that there's a fallacy in science. Where is it?
I'm stating that there are multiple theories to defend the creation of the universe. When we're talking about the creation of the universe, there are multiple
Sir,
theories
you're not listening. Look, you're yapping. And just listen to me. You're saying that there's something bad about science. Why is it bad? And if your only excuse is, I don't understand string theory, or I don't know what scientific theories are, that's a complaint. It's not a fallacy. Science is the best method we have to determining what is true in our world. It gave you the phone you're fucking using. So stop knocking science, which is the best method we have to understanding reality. And give us evidence of your magic fucking God, which you're making excuses because you don't have evidence for it. We all know you don't have evidence of your God. Just give it. If you don't have it, just say you don't and be honest. Or go away. I'm tired of this shit. Unmute yourself, sir.
So basically, like, I'm not necessarily disproving God. I'm not necessarily saying he's real or not. I'm disproving your idea of science being a reliable source to disprove what God is and what God isn't. How is science a reliable, statute when it comes to determining whether God is imaginary or not? That's my main question.
I never said you use science to debunk God. I never said that.
Yes, you did. I've been watching this live stream for a while, and you did say that science disproves God.
I
multiple times.
Said that. I never fucking said that. And more importantly, logic debunks a God. Science debunks the claims of the Bible. Not necessarily God. But science debunks the claims of the Bible, but logic debunks the idea of God. Now,
and that's another generalization you're making. You're basically stating that the Bible covers the entire sphere of, like, theism in general. You're talking about the Christian Bible as the definition of God.
Stop strawmanning me and start giving evidence of your God.
I'm not saying that he's real or not. I'm disproving your logic of science. And if you can't prove that science is...
My logic of science? That's a nonsensical phrase you just uttered. A logic of science. Science is not a logic. Science is a method that determines what is true based on testing, hypothesizing, theories, things like that. Nothing to do with God. And I never said it disproved God. That's your assertion.